Perfect.
Right, I suppose I do some sort of intro, so I haven't really thought about what this series is going to be called or anything. So what do I even say? Just here talking to another player who loves Rhinar and likes playing Wild Ride and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to talk about your tournament run. I heard you won an RTN, and just wanted to talk about how you got into the game, kind of your origin story, so to speak, and then your deck list, your choices, and stuff like that. So if you want to introduce yourself, that would be lovely.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no
My name
problem.
is Jason. I play Rhinar, and
Me too.
I won the recent RTN at Paper or Plastic in Shorewood on Rhinar.
Great.
Um, yeah, excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, I was wondering how long you've been playing the game, how long you've been playing Rhinar, and kind of how you came to that like hero choice.
Yeah, so I got into the game around Bright Lights. When that set came out, I had pretty recently left the city and I was looking for a new game to play. Like when I lived in the city, I went to Dice Dojo all the time. I
Yep.
played Blood Bowl there quite a bit. So I was doing a lot more minis gamings when I lived
Oh,
there. And when I moved out to the suburbs, I was looking for something new. Kind of wanted to get back into card games, and Flesh and Blood looked really neat. I saw a couple of videos from the folks at Three Floating and a couple other gameplay channels, um, and realized I wanted to give the game a try.
yeah.
Um, and So I picked up some of the basics to play Brute, and I was hooked on it. I loved playing Rhinar. Like he was the first hero I tried,
That's amazing.
and yeah, really like I don't know. I mean, it's weird when you're entering the game at that point, right? There was a lot of information out there on the internet already, and so like when I was getting into the game, Lexi hadn't LL'd yet. There were like really, I don't think Icelander had LL'd yet. Like there were
That's
some really
crazy.
strong, there were there were strong heroes that were still like
Yeah.
floating around, right? But like as a brand new player getting into the game, I was like, what looks like it can do strong things, but isn't about to LL and
Yeah.
potentially like, uh, like
Cost me
mess up
six
me,
hundred
like,
dollars.
yeah, exactly. So Rhinar like really appealed to me. I've always enjoyed like playing kind of like the brute or like strong things. Like when I do RPGs, I love to play like a
Mm-hmm.
berserker or a fighter.
Those are fun.
So like everything about the class just spoke to me. And I had a lot of fun with it. I lost a lot of games early on, but like that's okay. Like it was a good way to learn. Um, and it really wasn't until pretty recently that I even started trying out other heroes. I pretty much was just a brute main until like a year ago when I started playing some Victor Gold main as well. But
Ooh, that's
approaching
actually
RTN
interesting.
season.
I'm
Yeah.
curious to know why Victor was the hero that made you branch out.
Um yeah, I'll talk about it. So I already had a tunic, so that helped. Like
True.
like I already had an equipment slot like set for it. And it just I had played some heavy hitters limited. I liked Victor. I liked the clash mechanic, and
Mm-hmm.
enough time had gone by since heavy hitters was out that like he was like his cards were relatively reasonably priced. Guardian
Mm-hmm.
seemed interesting to me. I liked playing and tried to play Brute for quite some time with a more like mid-rangey club build. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, if I want to play like a mid-rangey hit you with a hammer build, I should try Victor.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and I really like the playstyle. I think Victor's a really cool hero, but at the end of the day I just wanted to play Rhinar this RTN season.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that is a good call right now. I think that the meta is like honestly pretty favorable towards Rhinar. If you know what you're doing, it's a weirdly difficult deck for some reason. But I feel like, yeah, if you're someone who's been playing for a while or just has a lot of reps, it's very, very rewarding. So I
Yeah.
think you made the right
Yeah.
call,
So
and obviously you were rewarded for it.
thanks. Yeah, no, I had taken a little bit of a break too, and so like going back to something that was just comfortable felt
Yeah,
really good. I played a lot during bright lights and heavy hitters, like mainly just going to armories and pre-releases and stuff like that. But like I went out to like a couple armories a week, but then I had a baby. And so that
yeah,
like kind of changed things. And
true.
I sat out through part of the Mistvale and Rosetta and didn't come back until the Hunted came out. So I've been playing pretty
Gotcha.
regularly since Hunted came out.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
kind of when I like returned to the game.
my start of the game was, I think, right before Rosetta came out. So I
Hmm.
think I've been in it for only a year or so here.
Yeah.
So definitely very different experiences of the game. I missed Lexi Meta, and I missed Icelander being a legal hero. I think I even missed Dromai being a legal hero. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely
Yeah.
very different experiences.
I
But
I was kind of happy though. The chunk I missed Zen being a legal hero, so I didn't play at all while Zen was legal. And from everything I've heard, I think that's an okay thing.
it's really funny because I'm also a very big runner player, and I it only like recently, like in the last like 3 to 6 months, I guess, was like when I found this hero and like actually tried playing it. But my first
Hmm.
deck was like, I think my first legit deck that I actually took to a tournament was Zen. I loved the combo ninja thing, but I didn't get to play full power like Bond's degenerate Zen. It was after the book burnings. It
Hmm.
was like the mid range value, but has a combo turn Zen.
Yeah.
And that I
It.
really liked. And I think in that way, he is actually kind of similar to Rhinar, where you can like play just really good numbers, and then you use your equipment to just say, "Hey, leave me alone. I'm sending 5 to 6 cards at you, and that's
Yeah.
gonna win me the game." So
I'm gonna
that's
have
kind of
like
what
one huge turn that my equipment helps with.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like that
Yeah.
similar play style of the mid range Zen to this like current kind of like aggro claws Rhinar really like drew me in. But after Zen LL'd, I was wandering around trying to find a hero. I played a bunch of different things, and then I started playing Rhinar, and I have not really looked back.
Yeah. Reiner's great. Um,
Best guy.
yeah, no, I I only saw some of that Zen. I think I maybe played against it a time or two, and it's a little bit too bad that like that version of the deck wasn't what we had for more time because that version was fine.
It
Like
was a
you know,
reasonable deck.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was like a
exactly.
50-50 type deck. It wasn't even that good,
Yes,
which is crazy. But
yeah, right, right. That's funny. So you've been playing Rhinar for about like 6 months?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think that I saw. I had never ever played against it, and I was watching some calling. I can't remember which one. I think it was Shizuoka,
Hmm.
um, if I remember correctly. And I saw, um, I think Shinya Kawaguchi playing it, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly. Um,
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, what is this? Like I've seen Eugene do it, and I was like, okay, he's different. But then
built
I'm
different.
seeing another guy do the same thing, and I'm like, wait, this looks incredible. So I saw that he was doing coaching, and I was
Yeah,
like, well, I've got this YouTube channel, like I'm making content, like let me like do like a training arc with Eugene and see if I can like actually get good at this deck. And I did, and I won a PQ on it, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I guess I have to play Rhinar now. So I feel like I've been doing that since
congrats.
then. Thank you. And
Yeah, that's
congrats to you
awesome.
as you as well. That's like why I wanted to talk about this with you. I feel like no one else on my team wants to talk about Rhinar, so I'm bringing you on in their stead.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, I remember seeing that Reiner had won. Was it the Dice Dojo PQ?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or no, I think
yeah,
it was the maybe the Good Games one. Yeah, it was the Good Games
sure.
one.
But I remember seeing that a Reiner had won one of the PQs in the city, and I was like, oh, it's Reiner's time.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I've been saying.
yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, I kind of think it is.
yeah,
There's a there's a person at my LGS, and who also was the judge at the paper or plastic event, who
Mhm.
says that they sincerely think that Rhinar is going to be the first Welcome to Wraith hero to LL.
I
Um,
I hope so, but also I don't hope so, you know.
I I agree. No, I don't want to lose my Rhinar, but like I do think that the deck feels like it can do really powerful things right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree.
yeah,
With that, do you want to jump into the list a little bit?
yeah.
Kind
Let's
of
talk about the
talking
list.
about some of your card choices and yeah, maybe your like just like kind of overall thoughts. So I guess we start with the hero and the equipment. Um, tell us about Mr. Rhinar.
So Rhinar, Reckless Rampage, is a brute. He's a hero from the first class of the game, the first set of the game. And his rules on his hero text are very straightforward. When you discard a card with six or more power during your action phase, intimidate. Target hero banishes a random card from their hand. At the beginning of the end phase, return all banished cards banished this way back to their owner's hands. So Rhinar plays a bunch of cards that cause cards to be discarded and intimidate your opponent's cards out of their hand, which makes their blocking decisions more difficult.
Yes, exactly. And I think that is like it is part of what makes him such a strong hero, but also sometimes a bad hero. Like his hero text is either so broken that it is like completely unfair, or it like literally does nothing. So
Yeah, and in those games where it literally does nothing, it like it can feel really difficult to stay ahead. Like one of the main
exactly.
reasons why I was very excited to play him in an RTN this first week, and if I were doing more RTNs or things like that, I would probably keep playing him. Is Syndra being gone is fantastic for Rhinar. We have some tools I think that are good to help in that matchup with Strongest Survive now, but I still don't like that matchup personally. Like because she just
Yeah.
doesn't want to block. Like she's happy to just throw her hands at you. And you can keep up, but if you brick once or twice, the game is probably just over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's really funny because my RTN run was like 5 Syndras. Um, or my PQ run was like five
Oh,
Syndras,
was
and I
it?
still won.
That's awesome. I mean, maybe I'm just playing against Cedra wrong, but
I don't
I
know.
I would rather play against like I seeing Syndra out like and seeing like things like Verdance, which really do want to like block with two cards, send two
Yeah,
cards. Like I'm happier playing into those decks
me too.
with what Reinhardt does. Yeah, yeah.
I found like
Um,
Splatter Skull to just like that's like the one thing that made that matchup like playable, I think.
Splatter Skull is one of the MVP cards in the deck for sure. Like just being able to get lucky sometimes and banish, their starter and then break it or force them to block so they keep their starter. Like
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah.
it's super strong. Yeah, let's no, I was just gonna say, yeah, let's pause on the talking about brute disruption and main deck cards and just go over the equipment really quick. Um,
Yep. So first equipment piece is Apex Bone Breaker. This is your arm slot piece. It lets you block for two, and if you defend with a card with six or more power, it creates a might token. And it sticks around so you can do that twice as long as you're blocking with
do
one
do
card with
do.
six or more power. Yep. So it's just good value. You're getting might. It's
Mm-hmm.
good when you're just trying to push damage. I mean, you probably wouldn't be wanting to block, but it's very good when you like want to keep a smaller hand to like, let's say, block with Bone Breaker and one of your cards keep a card for Arsenal and send an erase face for seven at a hero that like wants to block your erase face. Things like
Yeah,
that. I find it really good for Strongest Survive for eight.
yeah. Strongest
Things
Survive
like
for
that.
8 is like MVP play. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's so good.
I feel like that's the reason I'm like very much pro the Apex Bonebreaker over the like new T-Rex gloves because
Yeah,
you can't play those small hands as efficiently with those. You have to keep big hands to activate to click gloves, you know. But these
Yeah, I mean,
just yeah, okay, disruptive
if when
attack for 7.
yeah. Yeah, if when claws leave, they give us more blue sixes, which I think is a dangerous thing to do. I would be surprised if they give us more than what we've got already, but I would take it.
I would
Like
love
then I
that.
think we would see those gauntlets of tyrannical Rex more. But right now, like
Yeah,
I don't know. I like you don't always have something with six or more power in your pitch zone. There's a lot of things that you want to
unless you
pitch that don't have six or
overpitch
more power.
like yellows, I feel like is the only way you can actually make them like good. But then you're like
Yeah,
going yellow, blue, here's a buck wild, like gauntlet for 5 or for 4, and that's not that good. It's fine, but
it's not it's fine. It's not that good. I would prefer the Bone Breaker in most matchups. There's probably some matchups that the Gauntlet helps in, but
yeah,
right now I like I said, I was kind of valuing some weird solo sideboard slots that I'm using.
very well.
Um
Yeah. Next we got Mandible Claw, the
yep,
best brute weapon probably ever.
yeah.
Besides Romping Club, which is like low key broken, but it's sort of not good at the same time. Um, yeah, what do you think about Mandible Claws? What are you gonna do when they leave?
I'm gonna try that new meat axe list that's floating around.
Yeah,
I tried meat axe some um I don't know, probably 6 months ago or so, well before the Armory deck or Super Slam were on the horizon, and I actually had a lot of fun playing the deck.
yeah,
Um, but it was pretty swingy and pretty unreliable back then, and now we've got 3 more blue 6 power cards.
yes.
Um, and I think there is some real power to that card, but you have to do a lot more work to get it to work. Like you need
Yes.
agility tokens, you need rum tokens.
You need
So
a
I mean
lot
that's
of no
actually
blocks in your deck too.
a
So
lot
many
of
no
no blocks in your
blocks.
deck too. Um, and so when Mandible Claws leave, I'll be playing more. I'll probably be playing Meat Axe or Romping Club. Probably Meat Axe, honestly. And
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna try Meat Axe at my armory this week. Um, give it a
I'm
shot.
looking forward to testing that too. I've been like going through like archived videos of like old ass Rhinar decks and being like finding all the club decks, and they're like playing Scar for a Scar, E Strike, Blow for a Blow, or not Blow for a Blow, Life for a Life. And I'm like, this
Mhm.
shit is awesome. So I've been trying to like recreate that with some of the new like the Vigor Clash cards are really strong, I think.
I
Um,
I think so. I think you want 4 resources, like, to play good
exactly.
club hands.
So
Yeah,
if you can go
yeah,
like
totally.
pulping into club off the vigor, that's like a what 2 card 11, and you block 6. It's like 17 value. It's pretty gross.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's good. I've been reading a little bit about the meat axe, and I think the argument about meat axe over club is you get 1 intimidate with the meat axe.
you do get one
But you
intimidate.
have to swing with the meat axe first usually to, like, set up those turns. Like, I think a lot of the time
Yeah,
you're swinging with meat axe first or, like, doing pulping into meat axe. So you're
it's a
you're
lot
you're
of
getting an extra intimidate,
like
but
extra variance though that the clause list doesn't need, because you can just discard wind up and get go again, and go 3-3-8 and have
yeah.
a very very good turn.
My biggest
Uh,
concern about club or meat axe is gravy bones, truth be told. I
really,
think that yeah, I it definitely clearing allies if they're able to establish multiples seems like a problem.
yeah, I could see that. I feel like when I was testing it, I found that it was pretty easy to just deal with chum with like a pulping, and then you're sending club at whatever else, but like the club deck can very reliably fatigue gravy, I think, where this
You
deck
think so?
can,
Okay.
yeah, you can sometimes fatigue gravy as like a backup plan in the
Yes.
normal Rhinar deck.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I feel like you usually want to race the gravy in normal
Usually
Reiner.
you do, but like if shit goes
Yeah.
wrong and you get conquered a bunch of times, sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's not an option anymore. Yeah.
But yeah, other equipment, we've got our Savage Sash, our Scabskin Leathers, and our Scowling Flesh Bag. Just some of the most amazing equipment in the game, I think.
Yeah. And you need it. They fix problems for your deck.
That they
Savage
do.
Sash. allows like absolutely absurd turns. If you have not seen what Savage Sash can do, watch out for that card. If it is up, the brute does not need a Blood Rush Bellows to send like 28 damage at you.
Yeah,
Like it is it is a crazy card. And Scowling Fleshbag is also extremely good for disrupting your opponent's turns.
very true. Well, that's the equipment suite. Let's start getting into the cards in deck. Lovely. Okay. So let's talk about the reds and the yellows. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes of your Rhinar list.
Yeah, so swing bigs, show of strengths, 2 for 8s, blocks 3. So, you can block them if you need to, but typically you're trying to send them for damage. I typically run, all 6 of these. I'm not sideboarding them out.
Yep.
Maybe I would think about sideboarding show of strength out against a guardian, but
Yeah.
other
Even
other
then,
than
I'm
that,
like, I'll take 2 cards for.
I'll take 2 cards. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, our go again sources are Wild Ride, Pulping, and Bear Destruction. Bear Destruction is pretty conditional, so we'll talk about that one later. Wild Ride and Pulping are very similar, fill a similar role. So Wild Ride and Pulping are both 2 for 6s that you draw a card, then discard a random card from your hand. Um, so it's a good way to intimidate. Wild Ride, if you discard a card with 6 or more, it gets go again automatically. Pulping gains dominate when you discard a card with 6 or more power, and then as long as it isn't blocked by 2 or more non-equipment cards, it gets go again. So basically, they need a defense reaction in Arsenal or a way to like banish a defense reaction to stuff that card
Yeah, they have
if it gets dominate.
the it's like have a defense reaction in Arsenal or play the new Guardian Mastery Pack boots, base of the mountain will stuff a pulping. But usually you're
Yep.
pretty safe.
There's an assassin card that they can get one too from. They can, I think, get one from their graveyard and banish it or something like that on discard
Oh, under the trapdoor, yeah.
under the trapdoor. Yep, yep. So assassins are a little dangerous too. But yeah.
Just roll
So that
scabs. Just roll
yeah,
scabs.
just
It's
roll scabs
okay.
or just do your pulping with an agility token or rum
Yeah.
it. If you need to. Like it or wait and do it when they don't have an arsenal.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of ways to play around it. Savage Feast
Just an
is
all-star.
I, it's an all-star, one of the all-time best cards in Rhinar, in my opinion. As an additional cost to play it, you discard a card with 6 or more power, or you discard a card at random. If you discard a card with 6 or more power this way, you draw a card. So
Very
it
strong.
is incredibly good with an agility or rum as a way to lead off your turn. It's also a great finisher. It can let you set up something and put it in your arsenal, but I think it really shines as a one cost starter with agility or with rum.
I agree.
Um, yeah. Because you never know what you're going to draw off the top with Rhinar. There's certainly a lot of yellows in this deck that you would not want to arsenal. Um,
Yeah.
and in some of my tournament games, I had to. So
Dude,
I'll talk about that later.
yeah, I feel like lately I'm just like I'm arsenaling everything. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's if a card goes like I can block 3 cards and take a turn to send my terrible arsenal card for 5 or 6,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I'm still like I'm getting more value by arsenaling it than not arsenaling it. So whatever, I'll send my Bam Bam at Verdance. It doesn't matter.
yeah. I ended up with a skull crack in Arsenal at one point. And it was fine. It actually turned into a really good turn.
Yeah,
Um,
it's still
yeah,
2 for 6. It's still
it
fine.
is. It's still a 2 for 6. Yeah, exactly. So that's Savage Feast. Splatter Skull is our disruptive card. It is a two for
So
six,
good.
and when it hits a hero, you destroy a face down card in their banish zone. So if you've banished multiple cards, you will destroy one of those cards. I believe because it's face down, you don't see what it is in the banish zone. You pick it at random,
You
like
pick
with
it.
everything else related.
So it's weird because it's you don't pick it at random. You actually pick which card you want out of the intimidated cards, but you don't technically know what they are, but you do get to
Yes.
pick. So
Yeah, so
I feel like
so
I'm
it's
always like, make sure you like order them. Like, let me see the first one and the second one in that order, and then I just watch their face, and see what face they make.
oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
and
so
then
you're right. It's not truly random. Um,
it's a mind game.
yeah. And then the last card that we'll talk about is another go again source. This is Bear Destruction. Um, it has beat chess, which means that as an additional cost to play it, you may discard a card with 6 or more power. And it's not at random. You get to choose the card.
Which is
Um,
cool, but it also
and
is bad.
and it turns on another effect. So Uh, the effect that it turns on is as long as you don't have a piece. So if your chest piece has been destroyed, either from blocking or from activating your Savage Sash and destroying it, which is
Probably
going to be the main
activating.
use case. Yeah. The Bear Destruction gets go again, and the next brute attack action card you control or that you play gets +2 damage.
So kind of
Um,
like a 2 for 8 go again. Once you meet all the conditions of discarding a card and probably activating your Savage Sash to make this shit cost 1.
yeah. If this card, when I first saw this card, I was like, oh my God, the club deck is real. And then I realized it doesn't work with club.
I
And I'm
know.
like, yeah, okay.
If they had just made it work with club, we would have been so good.
if it were it could even just say club or brute attack action card. And then
Literally.
we'd be yeah, like and it wouldn't be broken, but it would help that deck. But it being an attack action card does make it challenging to use.
Yeah, does limit its power a little.
It does. And beat chest in general. I guess do we're that's all the reds that are in the main deck. Should we take a second and talk about beat chest and bear destruction?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me scroll down a little. Close the shit. Yeah, should we scroll down to like blues and yellows or
Yeah, let's scroll down to blues and yellows and we can talk about what's it called? Beat chest and bear destruction later. We can do the yellows and blues first. I think that makes sense.
deal?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's get into the yellows and blues a little bit here. Um,
Yeah. So yellows and blues, the yellows are pretty straightforward besides Blood Rush Bellow, which is our powerhouse card that lets us push crazy turns, high damage, everything like that. Most of our yellows are utility cards or cards that we want to discard. All of the windups, which I'm running 7 of, the agile windups, the mighty windup, and Bam Bam is essentially a windup in this deck in most
yep,
cases, um, are simply cards that you can discard um, either on your opponent's turn, which will not intimidate, but it lets you set up an agility token. Agile Windup is usually the only one I'd be doing that with.
heard so good.
Or, yeah, it's so good. It's so versatile. Or discard on your turn. It'll intimidate a card away, and it will turn on your claws and basically let you attack with your mandible claws with go again, because you will have already discarded a card with 6 or more power. They're extremely important for helping out with you know a lot of things. Like they can help with clunky hands and let you just get weapon swings in. They can help you clear allies for things like gravy bones. They can help you just intimidate extra, which is
Yeah.
really good, and set up for a future turn with mighty wind up or agile wind up. Um, discard like against a Verdance, like I sideboard in my alpha rampages, and like if I
Mm-hmm.
draw an agile windup, I will happily discard the windup, make an agility token for next turn, throw the alpha rampage,
Yeah, the
intimidate two
triple
more
intimidate.
times. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And set up an agility. Like that's a great turn for me, even though I'm not doing any go again. Um
I feel like
so those go ahead.
I've ended up winning a lot of games versus Verdance by like going for lethal damage, holding a wind up in my hand, and then when they activate Stormstriders, discard the wind up and try to intimidate a resource card or the spell because they've probably
Yeah,
already had to block, and that wins a lot versus verdants.
that is awesome. You're basically doing it on the trigger of the Storm Striders.
Yeah,
Essentially, you're
they
doing the
activate
wind
Storm
up.
Striders, but before they can play the spell, then you wind
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
they die and you win. So
That is sick. I did not have to do that last weekend, but that is an awesome play. It also I believe Mandible Clause is worded so that like you can turn on the go again
in
uh
resolution,
in the resolution step too, which
yep,
is cool. Like I mean people are probably gonna see it coming a little bit, but like
they will. But
yeah, but it still it feels nice.
you're like, ooh,
um
doing cool stuff.
yeah, exactly. But like you shouldn't if you're going to send claw first, you shouldn't always like it is something to think about whether you want to wind up before you send the attack or after
Yes,
blocks. Um like I think the layout of the rest of your hand matters a lot for that decision, but like
very true.
it's a decision you should be thinking about for sure.
Exactly.
Um
Yeah.
sea
So
legs,
windups,
yep,
don't
those are the
like
wind ups.
those.
Um
Sea legs and
sea
beast
legs
within.
is yeah,
I feel
sea
like
legs
are
and
kind of
beast
the
within
same
are both cards.
category.
Yeah, cards you want to discard that give you extra value. Beast Within is gonna banish cards off the top of your deck and get you a card in hand when it's discarded. Sea Legs is gonna give you a Gold Kiss Rum. Um, I have seen decks cutting Sea Legs. I think Gold Kiss Rum is like
That is
insanely good. I
crazy.
yeah, I would not cut it. I better like I would run three of them if I felt I had room, but
Yes.
I'm happy with two. Um,
I think two is a really good amount.
yeah. Um, Send Packing is an attack you can send and threaten some arsenal destruction. Disruption. Sometimes you can force a deck to block that doesn't normally want to block, so they don't
Hmm.
lose their arsenal. Sometimes you block three with it. Sometimes you discard it. Like all of those are fine things, and it's a 3 for 6. It's fine.
Exactly.
Um,
It is a
yeah.
card you can play that has relevant text.
Should we talk about Blood Rush Bellow real quick?
We should talk about Blood Rush Bellow.
Yeah, let's get going. So last yellow to talk about is Blood Rush Bellow. This is kind of the brute card. As an additional cost to play Blood Rush Bellow, you discard a random card. Um, your brute attacks gain +2 this turn, and if the discarded card has 6 or more power, draw 2 cards, and Blood Rush Bellow gains go again. So you really only want to use it when you have a card with 6 or more power to discard. It turns on your claws. Your claws attack for 5, and all your other brute attacks also get +2 this turn.
Hmm.
I personally, because of the power of this card, really like running as few non-brute attack actions as possible, even though there are some excellent 2 for 6s out there, like Command and Conquer and Weakest Link and things like that. I'm not
Yeah.
running those. I'm just running Erase Face. Blood Rush Bellow lets you go wide, gives you an Intimidate trigger. Yeah, it's just a great card. Um, I think that it's where a lot of the power for brute comes from. And I
True.
think before Savage Sash, it was often difficult to have like turns that went over rate without a Blood Rush Bellow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a strong card. It's definitely very core to the like identity of Brute right now. I think that they're trying to shift it away from
Yeah,
that. Um, so I'm curious to see where they'll go next, but for now I think it is the best Brute card. It's super strong and I think it's especially scary in Rhinar because of that intimidate. It's usually
yes,
you have a 3 card hand now to block and I'm sending 20 plus damage.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, like at a minimum, unless it like really goes wrong and whiffs, you're like at a minimum you're sending 16 to 18.
yeah,
Like that's your like that should be your goal for a floor. Like it
yeah,
can things can go wrong, yeah, but that is the plan, and it's not unreasonable to go quite a bit higher than that.
exactly.
Yeah. Typically a turn with Blood Rush Bellow, with another go again source, could look something like, Blood Rush Bellow, Wild Ride, claw, swing big or something
Yep.
like that.
And
And
that's how much damage is that? That's
that's a 28, I
28.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
28 with 2 intimidates.
yeah.
Very
Um,
good.
pretty good. Yeah, pretty powerful. So yeah, that is a 3 of in the deck. It's an important card. I personally think you have to be pretty careful about your Blood Rush Bellows in a lot of matchups.
Hmm.
In against Verdance, if you arsenal it and it gets plow undered, you're pretty sad.
Yep.
Against Assassins, they have a ton of ways to threaten Arsenal. So like this, if you get put into a blender where you have this in Arsenal and they send a Leave No Witnesses, you block it with equipment, they codex and send another Leave No Witnesses, like then all of a sudden like you are like you can feel like you can feel really bad with a Blood Rush spell in
Yes.
Arsenal. So I personally have been leaning more towards arsenaling Wild Rides, Pulpings, even a Bear
Yep.
Destruction, any go again source
Very good
instead.
arsenal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's even correct to like IP with a blood rush in those like disruptive matches. Like
Yes.
send your 2 cost, like 2 for 8, arsenal the go against source and hold a blood rush. Like
Yep.
that is something I'll do a lot, just to get
Yes.
around those effects. But
Yeah.
yeah, knowing how to arsenal in this deck and what to arsenal is definitely an important skill. But yeah, anything
Yep.
else you want to say about this card before we get on to the blues and the sideboard?
Please don't ban it. It's
Yeah.
it's a pretty key part of how we have our power turns as brute.
They're not gonna
Um,
ban it. It's
I
it's
don't
I think
I don't
it's
think they are.
yeah, I think they're quietly changing the design so that it's not good. Is
That's fine.
what their real plan
That's
is.
fine. It'll take a lot of work to get there, and then we'll have like two or three other really cool new good brute heroes. So no complaints there.
I'm excited. But yeah, let
Yeah.
me exit out of
Perfect.
this real quick and let's go into the like blue base here plus the sideboard a little bit. I've got to zhuzh this around. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the blues real quick, and then we'll get into the sideboard.
Yeah. So brute blues. There are 6 playable brute blues in Rhinar. You've got your Wrecker Romps and your Alpha Instincts. You just have to play them. They're so good. Alpha Instinct is good too. If you discard it to your Bear Destruction, you get an extra might, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, Barraging Beatdown gives you an Intimidate and +2 damage. It's good. All of these are 3 blocks except for Sigil and um,
Smashback
Smashback
Yellowhorn.
Yellowhorn. Yeah, so
Yeah.
these are also cards you're going to block with. Uh, Run
One.
Roughshod is a really nice like chain ender sometimes. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
just it really has versatility. Like there's some turns where you might end up, doing a wild ride or a pulping into a run roughshod, and that's totally fine. You can only play it when you've discarded a card with 6 or more.
I really like
Um
this card specifically with the new Bear Destruction because it allows you to play a 4 card Bear Destruction hand instead of a 5 card one.
yes.
So like
Yeah.
Bear Destruction, you pitch a blue. Um, if you crack your sash, if you have 4 cards, you can go 1 with that, discard a like Sea Legs, Alpha Instinct, or any other random 6, Claw for
Yep.
3, go again, and then run Roughshod for 7 for 0 off the sash. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Which
very
is
good if you're playing Bear Destruction.
Yeah, I totally agree. At least a couple of them, it's good with Bear Destruction. And you don't even have to use it on the Sash turn. Like it's still a
Yeah,
fine play on just a normal 4 card
yeah.
hand.
A blue 1 for
Um,
5 is also just good. Like,
it good rate.
good rate.
If we had that card in red, we would maybe play some of those.
Oh,
um,
yeah. I feel like if it was yellow, I'm slamming it into the deck three
yeah, yellow too.
times.
Yeah,
Yellow would
yellow
be
would be
insane.
incredible. Um,
Please LSS make yellow
it's
run
it's
roughshod.
it's pretty wild that we're in a place where I'm running 2 of send packings, and if we got that, I'd probably run no send packings, or maybe have it in the sideboard. Like I
Oh
I
yeah,
might replace those for run roughshod.
which is crazy to
Um,
say.
Yeah, because Sen Packing is a great card, but there we are.
Yeah.
Um,
The
I'm
interesting things to me, I think, are you being on three blue barraging beatdowns and
yeah,
two sigil of cycles because I feel like I was playing these for a while, and then when the armory deck came out, I tried swapping over to like smell fear and some other stuff and like the vigorous smash ups, and then
yeah,
I immediately switched back to these because I feel like the power in sigil cycles and barraging beatdown especially is like way higher than you would actually think that they are for just being kind
yes,
of like weird blues.
yeah. I mean, sometimes barraging beatdown just wins you the game because it's late
Literally.
game and they need to block, and you just intimidate so much of their hand away that they can't block you out because of a blue barraging beatdown. And you
Exactly.
get like, and you get +2 damage from it too. Like that's not something to like scoff at.
No.
The damage does also matter. Um, and like yeah, it's just a really strong card. I think that like whether it was Smell Fear or Barraging Beatdown, or in the past we even had Rhinar before Smashback, Ailhorn, and Sigil were out. Like some Rhinars were running a High Roller.
Clear,
Um,
clearing
yeah,
bellow.
Clearing Bellow. Yep, that one too. Just a blue that says Intimidate once is strong. It's good. And also you need blues that you can just
Like get out of
these
your
blue six
hand.
cost attacks are good, but like sometimes you get too many of them and that your hand gets really weird. Sometimes you really need a blue that you can just play or
Yeah.
arsenal and play easily. Like and barraging is one of those. Like barraging is a great arsenal card. Um,
Yeah. I
I
love
would
Arsenal
I
Hero.
would yeah. Um, let's talk about sigil real quick. Sigil of
Yeah.
cycles.
I think no
I
other hero plays this card except for Rhinar. This is like a
yeah. So
Rhinar spec, Loki.
Rhinar spec sigil of cycles.
Yeah.
It's 2 block, which I don't love, but you know, we're here. We're Reiner, you know, Reiner in 2025, 2026, we're running no blocks, we're running 2 blocks. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Because they let us do some really strong things. Sigil, you play and it is an aura, and at the start of your next turn, it will go away, and when it leaves the arena, you will discard a card and draw a card. Um, Often this will turn on your claws. It will give you an intimidate trigger. It will, you know, draw you something new. You know, maybe draw you a blue and let you do a big turn. Like as Rhinar, you really do want like 2 blues in hand and your claws
Yeah.
turned on because
You
that
always
lets you
need like
do
what, six
like
to
that.
eight resources is what you generally
Yes.
want on a turn.
Yeah, exactly. And Sigil lets you get there. Sigil also lets you dig towards your Blood Rush Bellows, which is important. You do want to find the Blood Rushes and get those resolved. Um,
Very true.
I was running 3 of them for a while. Um, I When Alpha Instinct came out, I dropped down to 2. Um, you know, for as good a card as Sigil of Cycles is, I have had hands where I had a fully playable 4 and then Sigil popped and like breaks my hand kind of. And
Yeah.
but that's brute life. Like things can happen.
Sometimes they do
So
not break your way.
yeah, but it's a very strong card. Um, just more discard, more intimidate. Like those are the things you want to be doing. And in most matchups, like currently, those are it's strong things to do. Um, like a lot of
Very
decks are
true.
trying to block right now.
It's just a
And
good setup
and
card.
yeah, exactly. It's a good setup card. It's a great turn 1 play. Same with Smashback Ailhorn. If
Mm-hmm.
you go first and have one of those in hand, you are very happy to just set one of them up
Yeah, if
to
you
have a
get both,
strong. Yeah,
that's
if you have
amazing.
both, like that's crazy. That's insane. You're probably totally happy to like play both of those Arsenal or Red and just like pitch a yellow to send a claw once and be
Yep.
like, okay, that's my turn 1. Um, but yeah. So I think Sigil and the windups are kind of similar. I think a thing I'll say about Rhinar, generally speaking, is that 1 intimidate is not the most powerful thing. 2 intimidates is extremely good.
Hell
Like
yeah.
against any deck that wants to block. One intimidate. most decks can figure out a way to block unless you like get lucky and high roll and intimidate the one card they want to block with.
Yep.
Um, but as soon as you do a second one, your opponent is going to be sitting there thinking about their blocks a lot harder.
Yeah. And then like if you're able to punish that with like a splatter skull in particular, um, or another card that intimidates at the end of the chain if they held their cards to block that, um,
Yep,
you can really blow people out.
exactly. And I think that sigil as well as the windups are really good to have to like secure that second intimidate
Very,
rather than
very
just
true.
one. Yeah.
Anything
Um,
else you want to say about the blues here?
Not really. I don't think we touched on Smashback Elhorn. It gives you an agility and a might.
True.
It's good.
It's
Agility and
great.
might are good. Um, yeah, we can talk about sideboard.
Perfect. All right. I'm gonna just adjust this here. We'll go to the inventory, the sideboard action here.
Yeah.
Ba, ba, ba. Let's see. All right. So, just gonna scoot this down. What do you want to say about your sideboard plans? I see some cards in here that I'm very curious about, um, namely
So
Visit the
what?
Boneyard.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask what surprises you or what you're curious about. So visit the boneyard is the one.
Visit the Boneyard and Massacre are the two that I'm wondering about in
Okay,
particular.
so uh, let's talk about visit the boneyard and massacre to start. So visit the boneyard is a card that I really like. So the way I assemble my deck from sideboard is I've got 56 cards in the main deck. Um, you could argue that I kind of have 54. I there's a lot of matchups I was finding I'm actually taking pulpings out, so you could think
Yeah.
about pulping being in the sideboard. I almost always am running my one of reckless swing, and then I'm
Yep.
putting in two tear limb from limbs or two visit the boneyards.
Okay.
Um,
So they
I
come
run
in opposite matchups, the Terran
they
from Limbs and the Boneyards.
exactly. Yep, they
Okay.
come in an opposite match. I'm always running. I think that gives me 22 blues. Um,
Ooh.
with the reckless swing and then two of those in.
Are you on
So
what, 22, 17, 22? Is that your ratio after board?
I
For
think
like
21, 17, 22. I think I'm running one more blue
Ooh, you're
than I
running
am
one more
red.
blue. Okay.
Uh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me actually just pull it up and double check. Well, I mean that would be how the math works if I'm running 22 blues.
Yes.
Um,
Unless you were doing 16 yellows. But I think you're running
nope,
17.
I'm not editing my yellows. Yeah, 21.
21, 17, 22.
No, 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 nope. Sorry, 22, 22, 17, 21. There we go. We
Okay.
got there
There
with
we
the
go.
mix because
22, 17, 21.
I'm adding three. I'm adding three blues in every matchup. I'm either adding the two of the visits and the two of the Terran from limbs and the one of reckless swing.
Gotcha.
Um,
We
yep,
figured it out.
and in every matchup, I'm either adding a massacre or a skull crack. Is the one
Ah.
red that's getting added to my deck no matter what. Usually,
Okay.
um,
And it's whether you need
so
like damage or intimidate, kind of.
yeah, exactly. So if I want to go tall, against Verdants, against Guardians, I am running Massacre. Like if I want to go like very tall, and if I want to go wider or just have like more, four resource turns off a random discard, I put the Skull Cracks in. Or if I'm
Makes sense.
racing, I put the Skull Crack in. I think Massacre is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I had multiple games where Massacre gave me huge turns and big swings.
Mm.
I I specifically think that if you're in a position where you I found that there were positions in games where I was breaking Savage Sash not to have a ridiculously massive Blood Rush turn, but
Mm-hmm.
to just have a very strong turn when I needed it.
Yep.
And a very strong Savage Sash turn is Bear Destruction into Massacre.
That is very
From a
true.
Savage Sash. Yeah. On a 4 card hand. So that was something I was doing in a couple games. It's I believe that's just it's just a 16, but it's
Yeah,
got two intimidates, and it's just a 4 card 16 that like
yeah.
there when in the right situation it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did one where I had a beast within, so I was able to like get something for Arsenal too, and things like that. Like
Amazing.
it it's weird. I think that, in an ideal world we always want to be popping Savage Sash to do 30 damage, but like sometimes you're in a match and you need to just keep up, and your
Yep.
cards aren't gonna like you're not gonna get that strong of a turn, and Massacre lets you get a really powerful turn, especially against a deck that wants to be
More
blocking.
defensive. That
Yeah,
makes sense to
exactly.
me. I feel like
um
especially with your list, like the distribution of power turns is different. I think that Bear Destruction in particular allows us to kind of play towards more power turns. Like our like super huge high damage enablers are Tear Limb from Limb, Blood Rush Bellow, and um, Bear Destruction now. So
yes.
being able to like have 3 Blood Rushes and then have a Sash turn and also use Bear Destruction, that like just gives us so much more like higher damage ceilings. Like we're going up, even if we're only sending 16 on the Sash turn, there's 1 or 2 intimidates, and we're keeping the tempo up. So I
Yeah,
think that
we're
it's super good.
it's it is 16 that you are like pushing damage through. Like it is
Yeah,
16 that like at most they're probably going to block. If they block the Bear Destruction, which they're probably not going to, they're going
they
to
will not.
block what comes afterwards. And if you hit them with another Intimidate, then like you're sneaking. So they've got 2 cards left in hand, and you're sending 10 on the Massacre.
Yep,
So at most they can block 6. You're pushing some damage through. And they have to block with both of their cards that are left and take whatever you intimidated, as that's all they've got in their
as
hand
their
for the next
turn.
turn.
But yeah,
Yeah. So that's why I've got the one of Massacre.
makes
I
sense to
I've
me.
I found I ran it a lot on Saturday. I think it's a good one of. I wouldn't want more than that. It doesn't always work. It there's cards that it like anti synergizes with, but like when
Mm-hmm.
it works, it's a good card, and
True.
it's a powerful attack to send for 3 resources if you need to send it, as long as you've discarded something else, like a
Like a wind up, even.
yeah, a wind up or something off sigil.
Yep.
That's fine. Yeah.
Talk to me
Uh,
about Visit the Boneyard, because that's the card I'm the most curious about. I need to know why this is in your deck, because it doesn't block, it's an instant, it's not a 6. Those are all interesting things to me. So tell me, why did you pick this blue as your sideboard blue?
So I think it's really good when you are doing like a little bit of blocking and some racing, and it lets you like guarantee that I'm not using it as like an anti-fatigue card. I am using it as a way to make sure that the damage that I am sending happens. So let's say I have another blue in hand, a wild ride, a visit the boneyard, and a
Mm-hmm.
swing big. Um, I would just stick any old 6 attack from my graveyard, ideally a beast within or
Skullcrack would be
a
crazy
skull
here.
crack. Yep, skull crack or a sea legs. I did in one of my games
Yeah.
on the top of my deck during their turn, and then do wild ride. You're guaranteed to hit. The worst thing that can happen is you get a vigor off of it too, so you've got a
Yep.
fourth resource with your blue. Um, I I think Skullcrack is a really good option when you have it, because if you put one of those utility yellows on there, and you discard your swing big instead of the utility
Yeah.
yellow, then you're in a weird position. But as long as that doesn't happen, it's letting you send your damage through. So
True.
it's
It's
giving
guaranteed
you
go again or dominate.
guaranteed guaranteed go again or dominate, plus a vigor. Like I think there are times when we get our six resource hands and ways to use them, and we're thrilled, and there's times where
Mm-hmm.
we um only have 3 resources and just really wish we had a fourth,
True.
and visit the boneyard gives us that. um
So when you're playing this card, are you playing this on your opponent's turn so that you get the vigor, or are you playing it on your turn so you save the vigor for the next turn?
Uh, Opponent's turn to get the vigor,
Gotcha.
typically,
Okay, cool.
and fix a you know make a decent 3 card hand. Like this is your fourth card in hand, and it lets you make a 3 card hand. You can put it in arsenal and use it to fix a turn later. You
True.
could use it to like there are other things you can use it for. Like you could use it to get your swing bigs or your show of strengths back if you are at risk of fatiguing and just
Yeah.
need more damage put back in your deck.
Or
I think it's
guaranteeing
pretty
like a
versatile.
blue for Blood Rush, maybe. Like if you need like a resource card and this is an arsenal, like putting a blue on top to draw could be really good.
Yep, putting your alpha instinct or your wrecker romp exactly
True.
um on
Okay.
top of deck is great.
You're selling me. I'm gonna test this. Yeah.
I I think that it has more times where it helps out than you would think.
Okay.
It's I don't know. I mean, I will say there's a lot of times where I'm just pitching it, and that is what it is.
And
But
it is a good. It's good for that.
yeah, it's fine for that. But it can do some cool things. But it is not it's not an anti-fatigue card. It's
Gotcha.
usually a way to get a fourth resource and guarantee go again off of your pulping or your wild ride.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good to me. So we talked about Massacre, Skullcrack, the blues, our disruptive cards, and then we should go into those a little bit. So we've got Strongest Survive, Erase Face, and then you could sort of count Alpha Rampage as a little bit disruptive, but I guess it's more on the Intimidate side. But yeah, if
Yes.
you want to talk about those, go for it.
Uh Strongest Survive is incredibly good right now.
It's
It
such a
I think
busted
people
card.
yeah, it's so strong. I think people started putting it in because of Syndra. But
Yeah,
now that Warrior and Assassin are on the rise, guess what? It's
yeah,
great into Marionette. It's
yeah.
great into Warriors. Like
Yeah, they just
it's
have to
just an
block it.
amazing card. Yeah. Not only do they have to block it, like a warrior has to block it out. They're gonna have to give you a piece of equipment. Like
Yeah,
Kasai and Fang, they're usually sticking with dynamos, so they're
yeah,
they've got something to put in front of it. But if they don't have dynamos, they have to give you something else. Because
exactly.
they don't have any attack power. Typically.
Unless you
Um
randomly catch them on the hand where they have Nourishing Emptiness against Kasai.
yeah, yeah, and Fang has some 0 for 4s, I guess. So
Yeah,
like he's a little bit less vulnerable to it, but still
still
he
doing
also
a
wants
lot.
to block a little bit less. Yeah, exactly. Um, uh, Erase Face is our other disruptive card. It is just incredibly useful to send at decks that don't block that need to lose things.
Yeah,
Um,
I was curious about
so
this choice too, actually. Like running this over Command and Conquer, what are the decks that you're running Erase Face into? And like what are the matchups where it like has a lot of text?
so the matchups that specifically I'm running Erase Face into are Draconic and Mechanologist. For Draconic, it can totally mess up their hands if they're Syndra. A lot of their stuff needs Draconic chain links. Their daggers need Draconic chain links.
Mm-hmm.
Fang, it can potentially just completely ruin their day and make them lose their like they either have to spend fealty I think to like
Okay,
remake something draconic or lose their entire fealty stack. um
makes sense.
Mechanologists I think are the class that is the best at outracing brute,
Yeah,
and this forces them to stop and block, which they don't want to do,
true.
because both Dash IO and Puffin are running a lot of boost packages, and yeah, so it's good to stop that. Why no Command and Conquer? Believe it or not, I just I was finding that like it's a strong card.
Yeah, one
I
of the
think
best in the game.
yeah, I actually didn't have any matchups where I ended up siding in Bearfangs over the weekend. So maybe Bearfangs should be Command and Conquer. I don't know. Bearfangs does different stuff. It's strong, but
Yeah, I feel like you only want
I
it into like Earth heroes, basically.
it, yeah, exactly. And I'm already running Alpha Rampage into Earth Heroes. I think I ran Alpha Rampage, Massacre, Tear Limb from Limb, um, and so like I didn't even bring in the Bear Fangs.
Yeah.
Actually no, I think I brought in two Bear Fangs for two pulpings in my Verdance
Mm,
matches.
that makes sense.
Left one pulping and replaced two of them with Bear Fangs. But yeah, I think um, I was talking with a friend about this, and I was asking about Earth and erase face. I'm like, well, we get rid of Earth, but like Verdance is totally happy to block you with two cards every hand,
Exactly.
so erase face doesn't really do anything. It is really there for those aggro decks like Syndra and Mechanologist. Um,
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but it does work in the brute mirrors too. Against your opponent's blood rush, it won't get buffed, right? If you
yeah,
hit them
because
with
things
erase
aren't brute
face.
cards anymore. Yeah, things
Yeah,
aren't brute cards anymore.
it's
Um,
very good
I
into
was
KO.
the I was the only brute at our RTN.
Oh damn, really?
Um, yeah, yeah. I was definitely surprised to see that. I thought a KO of some sort would have made an appearance at the very least.
Yeah, makes sense to me. But yeah,
RKO, Armed and Dangerous, one of them.
any other thoughts about your sideboard here? Do you want to just talk about your tournament run quick and then we'll kind of wrap things up?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm
Cool.
happy to do that. So yeah, so my tournament run. Let me just pull it up on Jim because I want to make sure that make sure I get things right. This was my first RTN ever.
Really?
And actually my first tier 2 event ever. I've never done a pro quest either.
That's crazy. And you won the whole
Uh
thing. That's amazing.
I did. I am super happy with how it went. I do think that going in with a hero I was super comfortable with and a goal to just like have fun and do the best that I could really helped. Like
Totally.
because by the time I made top 8, there was like no nerves. I was just happy to be there, and was like, "Oh, maybe I'll make top 4. Maybe I'll make top 2. I might win this." Which I think
That's
really helped keep myself calm.
that's
um
so funny because that was like my exact same experience when I won the PQ. I was like, I'm just here, like I don't know, I'm just gonna play Rhinar and have fun. And then I kept winning, and I was like, oh, okay, here we are. And
yeah,
just how
it
fun this deck
helps.
is makes it better when you are winning. I don't know, like I don't know how to explain.
Exactly. It helps that it's just incredibly fun to play. It can do bricky things. Like brute stuff happens, but like if you can laugh it off and move on to
Yeah,
the next game and not get tilted by bad luck, like then it's all good. Um,
exactly.
so so yeah, no. So this was my first RTN and ended up winning the whole thing, which was very exciting.
Let's go.
Yeah. My my first game of the tournament was against Kasai, and I had a round 1 loss. It
Yeah,
was it was an absolutely brutal game. I think Kasai is a really tough matchup
I think that's maybe
for
our worst matchup, I would say.
yeah, yeah, for Brood in general. It's rough. The opponent piloting it was like very skilled as well.
Hmm.
Um, they established 2 Centauri Cell Swords, and I set up a Sigil of
Oh
Cycles, and
no.
was like, yeah, and but I was like, I've got a Sigil. Like, we're gonna get this fixed on my next turn, and I drew 4 cards, none of which had 6 power. So it
No.
was
Just the
it
ultimate
was
ultimate brick
I
hand.
believe I believe it was a blood rush and 3 of the blues that don't have anything. I was like, all right, so we'll discard a card to sigil, and we'll see what we draw. I drew a card with 6 power, but it wasn't a wind up, so I couldn't discard it or anything.
Yeah.
And then I rolled scabs and rolled a 3, so I was like, well, I guess we're just gonna clear one of these cell
You
swords,
did your
and
best.
yeah. So it's totally fine. But it was a rough match that was made rougher by a really bricked hand. Um uh so I lost that first one. Um we had an odd number of people, so I got a second round bye. So I got to sit and watch and relax for a little bit.
Mhm.
And then we were back to it. I went up against a a 2-0 Verdance, I believe.
Mhm.
Or maybe they were 1-1 at that point. But my first game back from the bye was a Verdance. It was a good game,
Mhm.
but they weren't able to get online early enough to slow me down, and I
Yeah.
was able to present enough disruption and tall hands that I took them down. I actually, believe it or not, I know Verdance is a pretty scary deck in the meta right now, but I actually really don't mind playing against Verdance on Rhinar.
No, I think it's one of your
I
like better matchups.
Yeah, I enjoy it. You're doing, like, like the mental damage by just like making their blocks stink constantly, and
Exactly.
like and with they're a deck that really wants to block with two cards and send two cards. And yeah, you can just make that difficult. Um, I know that I paired up in the fourth round because my opponent at that point was a 3-0 Puffin.
Mhm.
Um, and that matchup was very tough. We were
Really?
we were race
Okay.
yes. Uh, we were racing. They had an incredibly powerful start with established multiple cogs. I think they established three cogs on I think they went first. They established three cogs on turn one, and then on turn two,
Oh
like went went wide and ended a powerful turn with a Palantir fully buffed.
no.
Like it was a rough start to the game. I
Yeah.
hit a Blood Rush Bellow relatively early and got closer to life equity. And then probably did the weirdest thing that I did the entire tournament, which was I that was the game where I ended up with a Skullcrack in Arsenal. And
Amazing.
I had a clunker of a hand, and decided that the best thing I could do. We were under 20 life at this point, both of us. It was close. I decided the best way to convert the hand that I had was to block, um, with a couple cards, pop Savage Sash, pop my Gold Kiss Rum, send the Skullcrack from Arsenal, and then send an Erase Face. So Savage Sash for 12 damage, but it they didn't want to block the Skullcrack because they knew there were follow-ups to
Mhm.
the Go Again Skullcrack from
It's
the
like
Gold Kiss Rum,
6
and
true
then
damage.
yeah, 6 true damage. So got him down to like 12 or 11 with that,
Mhm.
and then sent the Erase Face, which they had to block, and then that turned tempo back in my favor, and I had a life lead at that point.
Amazing.
Yeah. So uh, the moral of that story is Savage Sash is like a really good card to have like insanely powerful turns, but like if you are in a race with a deck that you're racing and you need to use it just to like send pretty middling damage with disruption stapled to it, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. And yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like that's like sometimes that's the strongest thing you can do with it is like two for sixes that have relevant text, or even two for sixes that don't have relevant text. Just like, all right, here's 12 damage. Like, leave me alone for a second.
yeah, because otherwise, we're low enough life totals that if you have another huge turn, you might be able to kill me, or you're at least going to be forcing me into blocking. Um, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, it was a very weird turn, but that was the highlight of that match.
I
And
love
it
it.
was cool to see Puffin. I think Puffin is really sweet. I do think I got a little bit unlucky with Intimidates, but that is how it is. Puffin does run some blocks with those Golden Sky Wardens, and if you luck out and,
Oh
and
yeah,
banish
true.
one of those, you can like it's very strong. But I did not, and they were able to block with them, and those are very good blocking cards.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think they're on like Pinion Century and stuff now too.
yeah,
Just like,
yeah. I didn't see Pinion Sentry, but there were Golden Sky Wardens for sure. It's yeah, it was interesting. Palantir is a scary card. So something I learned about Puffin, it didn't come into effect in that game, but they were telling me that You could even use Palantir to, if the chain is still active, you could use Palantir to destroy a card on a different chain link.
Yep.
So if you've blocked with equipment earlier on in the turn, like let's say you put your Savage Sash out there, because you're like, oh, I want to use it, so I'm just going to block two and get the value out of that. Like they can Palantir that if they have three cogs, so you need to watch out for that because they will destroy your Scab Skins or your Savage Sash if they get the chance.
I've definitely experienced that before. The first time that that happened to me, I got so blown out. I think I destroyed and got my Savage Sash destroyed, and I did need it for like the follow up turn. So
Yeah,
it was a rough time.
yeah. Puffin Puffin can do really strong stuff. I think it's a
Yes.
really cool deck. I'm happy to see people playing it. I it's cool. It's a cool deck. So yeah, watch out for Palantir or not. It'll get you. My round five opponent, which was the last round of the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
was Yasu
Oh
Sakuma
yeah,
on
Yasu's great.
Arachne Marionette.
He's on the
Yes.
team.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yasu. Yasu and I played twice
Really?
during the tournament. Yep. So he was also the quarterfinal opponent
I
of
love
mine.
that.
Yeah, Yasu in the fifth round beat me handily with Marionette. I didn't see my strongest survives or my Blood Rush Bellows, and
Mm-hmm.
the current build of Marionette is so like aggressive and deals so much damage. It's a really scary build. What Yasu and I don't know if they were running the same build, but Yasu and Arjun Garg, who was my opponent in the finals,
Yeah.
we're both running Marionette, and like it's a scary build of Marionette that's around there right now for Brute.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
it's a lot
gnarly.
of damage. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of disruption. Um, and I think you do need to see some of your power cards to keep up. Um,
Very true.
yeah. So I ended the day 3-2 there, but because
Yep.
of tiebreakers, I did make it into the top eight as the eighth seed.
As the AC,
So
just barely made it. Yeah.
barely made it, and had to go up against the one seed immediately, which was a Verdance deck, and it was Bradley J on Verdance, really great opponent,
Mm-hmm.
like strong game. It was pretty close, and but I was able to get there with the cards that I included. I had a really big tear limb from limb towards the end of the game that just kind of nailed the put the nail in the coffin of that
Yeah.
one.
That card does work in that mashup.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta. So for funny story about that. This is probably one of the last like big stories I have about the event. So Verdance actually helped me unbrick one of the craziest heads I've ever drawn on Rhinar. So this was like turn two or turn three. I think it was maybe turn three. Um, I had a Blood Rush Bellow in Arsenal, and then I drew two more Blood Rush Bellows. Uh, and yeah, a yellow six and a blue and two Blood Rush Bellows. And they sent a Felling of the Crown at me, and I was like, "Yep, like go away."
Yeah. I don't need you, other Blood Rush. Not right now.
No, yeah, legitimately. And then I sent a I sent a three card hand, Blood Rush Bellow. It was fine. It wasn't. I think it was maybe 16 damage or
Yeah.
18. Maybe not even that. It might have been like a weird like 14 damage turn. It wasn't huge or anything, but it was fine.
It was playable,
Um,
unlike the double Blood Rush hand.
with a Blood Rush in Arsenal.
Yeah.
So we Felling of the Crown one to the bottom, and then Blood Rushed, drew up again, Blood Rushed again, and then all of a sudden, like I felt like I
You
was
were
in a
just
really good spot. Yeah.
amazing.
Um, yeah. So and having that other Blood Rush at the bottom didn't matter. I don't know if we touched on it with Sand Sketch Plan, which is one of our strong cards. You can use that to
Yep.
either go get a Blood Rush off the bottom of the deck or
If you're going
just to
Eugene
shuffle your
mode.
deck. Yeah. Yeah, if you're going Eugene mode, or you can just use it to shuffle your deck if you've had to put a Blood Rush on the bottom, to see
Yeah.
if you can get it closer to the top. I didn't end up having to do that in that game, but it's something to consider.
Very true.
Um, Quarterfinals and finals were Arachne Marionettes, both very good opponents. It was Yasu in the quarterfinals and then Arjun in the finals.
in the finals.
Um,
Yeah,
yep,
they're both
yep,
like real killers. Yeah.
yeah,
Seriously.
yeah. So they played really well. I think a big part of my success was you like you got to hit your disruption at the right time against those kinds of matchups. Sending
Yep.
splatter skulls when they don't want them, strongest survives, or just having powerful blood rush bellow turns to keep up. Um, you need to save your equipment against marionette to block when you really need to convert a powerful hand.
Yep.
Scowling flashbag is really good in the matchup, just to make sure that you don't get like uh, a pump on a leave no witnesses or something like that
Yeah.
that just like totally messes up your plans.
Just save
But
the world.
yeah, both of those games were just essentially a race with me doing some blocking on disruption or when I had clunkier hands,
Mm-hmm.
but was able to get there. Yeah, so
That's amazing.
uh, and then I won and I pulled the gold foil beaten trackers.
Yeah, the gold foil bean
Um,
trackers. It's such a like fitting end to the like kind of story of your event, which I think is so fun. Like getting
yeah,
like one of the best like brute cards there. I'm like, now you got
yeah,
to play beaten trackers in your list because you
I,
got to play
I
the
think I
gold
do.
foil.
Yeah, yeah, I think I've got to. I even said as I was opening it, I'm like, I just hope it's a brute card. And they were like, well, the only brute cards are like beaten trackers and skullhorn. I was like, I'd be fine with the skullhorn, and nope, it was the trackers. So
That's that's so awesome. But yeah, do
yeah,
you think
it was sweet.
after this are you gonna go to Nats with your
Um,
invite?
so yeah, that's a big part of why I chose to go to this tournament is I'm from Wisconsin, and in Wisconsin, like everyone who lives in Madison either like stays in Madison, goes to Chicago, or goes back to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So I have a ton of friends up in Minneapolis and family, and my wife has a lot of friends who moved back up to Minneapolis too. So we're looking at it. It's summer. It's Minneapolis. I've
Yeah.
got a he'll be two in a few months at
Aw.
that point, baby. We're like, you know what? Like if I qualify, we'll make the trip up to Minnesota. Like that would be a really fun thing to do as a family. She has friends she wants to see. You know,
Aw.
I've got friends and family up there too. If I don't make day two, you know, we'll probably stay up there for like a week. So
Yeah.
the plan is that yeah, I'm going to use that invite and go to nationals, and I'm
I
really
love
excited for
that.
it.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll probably also be doing that because my family's all up in northern Minnesota too. So I'll probably be heading out there even if I don't qualify, playing sides, and
yeah.
hopefully seeing my family. But
That
yeah,
was
that's
something that
awesome.
I was considering too, but then it's like well, I got the invite and it's like okay then, like
Here we
let's do
go.
this.
Well,
Yeah, no, I love the Twin Cities. I'm excited for the event up there. And honestly, I don't see anything changing to make me not just keep playing Rhinar. So I'll probably be playing Rhinar at Nats.
I think that I'm probably going to be doing that too. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks again so much for coming on and talking with me today about our mutual friend Rhinar. Yeah, anything you want to say or shout out before we depart?
I'll give a shout out to all the folks at Chupacabra Games, which is my LGS. I've been at a lot of armories practicing Rhinar, and you know I've had a lot of good games with the folks there. So good crowd out there out in Naperville. And shout out one of my friends, Ryan, who was actually the Kasai in the first round, who beat me, and who I did a decent amount of practice with. So got some challenging games against Kasai and ahead of the RTN.
Lovely. Well, thanks again so much for joining us on the channel. Hopefully, we'll do some more of these like interview style vids. I'll let you know when I put this up. But yeah, thanks again, and I will see you hopefully at US Nats.
Sounds good. See you there. Good luck at your RTN this
Thank you.
weekend.
Yeah, hopefully,
Thanks.
I'm probably playing a list similar to yours. So,
Yeah,
thanks for all
I
the tips and info for me.
I would be curious to see what changes you make. So after the
Yeah.
RTN, if you want to send me your list, I'd be curious to see what you're doing different.
Yeah, for sure. I'll fill you in. I'll send it to you.
Perfect.
But
All
yeah,
right, sounds good.
thanks again.
Have a good rest of
Take
your day.
care.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Bye.